Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1 introduced a variety of sets, and today we're going to go over its biggest standouts, at least in my opinion. The Dragonian Storm Village retails for $40 USD. It comes with a somewhat small structure to represent the Dragonian base. However, the weapon rack, jail cell, falling bridge with a skeleton at the bottom, a little rope to sneak up, and the storm spinner get you immersed enough to get the imagination flowing. And the side builds from some of the other sets can help flesh this location out a little better. The figures are where the party really gets going though. There's Storm Nia, Storm Zane, who's exclusive to the set with his full outfit, a Dragonian warrior with a cool attachable dragon piece on the back, which blends in seamlessly with the rest of the figure, a Dragonian scout, rogue, and a brand new iteration of Moro who's also exclusive to this set. This set is a great way to get a taste of Dragons Rising Season 3. Raz and Arin's Super Stormjet retailing for $50 USD is one of my favorites of this wave. Arin's color scheme gets a little darker with the higher saturation of dark blue in his color scheme now. The wings achieve some pretty unique angles that we don't see much in LEGO. Details like the glowing blue intakes and energy outlets on the wing make this jet so much more immersive when flying it around. Raz's detachable flyer does look a little out of place, and it blocks access to one of the cockpits. The purple storm exhaust pieces in the back are also a little out of place. So I prefer to keep Raz's dragon flyer out since it does look a lot cleaner this way. I still keep the storm exhaust pieces on though because it leaves a weird hole in the back when you take it off. However, even without Raz's jet, the jet is still able to hold the two of them with two cockpits available for the team, with Arin piloting in the front and Raz riding along in the back. In case the situation gets a little too hot, Arin's cockpit can also eject into safety. This set comes with Arin, who doesn't line up with his actual suit for this wave, which feels a little scammy to me on LEGO's part. His proper suit still fits into the cockpit, so it seems like business was the only reason they didn't give us his full suit in this set. Raz is also included without his armor piece, which actually makes sense since it's a lot more frustrating to get him into his cockpit with the piece on. However, I still would have preferred for LEGO to give kids the option to build his full form. And then finally, we have a Dragonian warrior, which seems reasonable if you use enough imagination since he can fly and go up to attack the Stormjet. So because he isn't stuck on the ground, I'm okay with there being no side build to fight the jet. Zane's Ultra Combiner Mech retails for $100 USD and it has quite the visual presence. This one is definitely not as tall as some of the other mechs we've gotten lately, but it's extremely condensed and bulky, which is an interesting shift in design from the usual tall and lankier mechs we've been getting. The main idea here is the build splits into 4 distinct things. And I'd like to add that it's extremely easy and quick to finish the transformation, which I think is super important because you don't want to spend 10 minutes transforming your mech in the middle of a heated battle play scenario. The off-roader formed by the entire lower body section is super fun to roll around and has a very utility look to it with the red and blue. The left cockpit also reveals a blaster for some extra defense. Sora's jet is a reorganization of the entire upper torso, which gives us another very full and substantial build that doesn't necessarily feel like an afterthought or like it came from something else. The cockpit can rotate a full 360 degrees and has a giant booster in the back to achieve some high speeds. Ryu is also a part of this mech as a back attachment. I usually like to keep him off since I doubt he's going to be combined with the mech in the show. His build is definitely not as charming as the proportions we got in the first Young Dragon Ryu. However, I really like his wings because the sheer size makes him really fun to fly around, as well as his neck does look a lot more organic and it feels better than the original. And finally, Zayn detaches really easily from the chest to give us his very first mech form. This build is very polished and easily a very important thing to have for any Ninjago fan because of its story implications, which kind of makes me wish it came in a smaller set to be more accessible. There's a hidden truck mode as well for the mech to transport the mech faster from battle to battle. Nonetheless, it's amazing how every build here has so much character to it and can stand rightfully as their own sets, while all combining to make a very sturdy mech that can be roughly played with. The only issue I've had regarding stability is the Zayn in the middle popping out if you hold it in the wrong place. I kind of wish that it had a stronger connection there. For figures, we get a couple Dragonians, Noct for the first time, Sora in an inaccurate suit since she just wears her old outfit in the season and doesn't have that mask, Storm Cole, who might have looked better with more gray than orange here, and finally Pixel, who looks fresh, still donning the Samurai X logo, but with added lavender in the color scheme. Now getting to my most wanted set because of its insane story implications, we have Thunderfang Dragon of Chaos retailing for $70 in the US, which I think is just about fine in terms of price. This build is exactly what it needs to be and doesn't really try to reinvent the wheel or try anything special, so it's a pretty standard building experience, which is totally fine but worth mentioning. The chains tied around the dragon are attached at several points and done so in a way where you really can't take them off unless you rip Thunderfang's hand off, which helps make him feel actually shackled. I was worried some would get in the way, like this chain connecting to his neck brace, possibly limiting articulation, but they're all long enough to not interfere or be a hassle during play, which is a really nice plus. The wings are much more striking than they look on the box render because the pink on the wing has a transparency to it, which first of all lines up with the trans pink used on the head and tail. Secondly, it also makes it look more like a proper storm. And 3, the light really brightens it up, giving off even more visual contrast. The underside of the wing skeleton is also color matched really well, so it looks very presentable. It's also able to shoot chaotic storm blasts with some hidden multi-shot stud shooters. My only gripe would be I really wish the head had dual molded teeth to really drive home Thunderfang's iconic look, since those teeth are a huge part of his design in the show. But I can totally see why they didn't, since making a brand new dragon head mold was probably way out of this set's budget. One last thing is you can put the prismatic katanas in the side build to release Thunderfang, which is a neat feature, but would be way cooler if this build could connect to the Dragonian Storm Village, so it actually felt like Thunderfang was tied down to something substantial instead of something he could easily just rip up. For figures, you get Storm Lloyd, Storm Nia, Sora with her hair out, Tyre, who's exclusive to the set, but really he's just a normal Dragonian in every way, apart from his horns, but it is nice to get some variation for extra play scenarios. Noct, and the highlight being a full dark suit for Arin for the first time. That pink dragon on his suit is so striking to look at against the key orange and black. And finally, for $100 USD, we have the Arc Dragon of Focus, the powerful dragon that imprisoned Thunderfang in the first place. I'm gonna be honest, it took a while for me to form an opinion on this set, because unlike Thunderfang, this one tried a lot of new things. I wasn't sure about the colors at first, the form, or the features, but having had built it for a while, I can safely say I love owning this and flying it around. The wing flapping feature felt weird originally because it just went forward and back, but now it kind of does make sense to me since there's a slight angle to the wings, so it looks like the dragon is pushing itself forward when you flap them. The gold doesn't look as distracting and noisy as it did on the box art. The way it reflects off of natural light in the real world blends in a lot more seamlessly, so I quite enjoy the striking color scheme. My only complaint is that the tan side of the dragon should have one tan dragon head piece, just like how the purple side has one purple dragon head piece. This all gold dragon head is okay and is close enough to tan to not look too distracting, and I'm guessing that's what the designer's whole thought process was in terms of saving money with this set, but it would look so much better if it was a sandy color. The overall posture of this dragon with the heads raked back looks very majestic. They unfortunately can't be moved completely forward into the more traditional position we usually see Ninjago dragons in, with their heads extended completely out, but I think LEGO had to pick one or the other here, and I think it was worth it because this dragon lines up with Thunderfang nicely, which I'm pretty sure was the idea and a priority here since they're rivals and all. You can sit 3 on this dragon, which I enjoy whenever a mobile Ninjago set accommodates more than just one person at a time because it's so rare. And you can also shoot off a focus beam via a notch right above the wing flapping feature. For side builds, we have a Shatter Spin Spinner for Drix and a little shrine for one of the prismatic katanas. For figures, we have Storm Lloyd again, Storm Cole, Wildfire with no armor for some reason, Pixel, Storm Kai, Drix, a Dragonian warrior with no dragon on his back for some reason, and finally Zarkt for the very first time in a set. He's one of my favorite designs because they really got creative with him. He has a bunch of chains binding his robe and a hat with 2 little eye holes peeking out for extra creepiness. Thank you for watching my personal favorite sets of Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1. Comment down below what your favorite sets were. I'd love to see what you're thinking here. And as usual, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.